Hey y'all, it's TxStampin Sharon. On today's video, we're gonna make 2 cards. I love this designer series paper and I think you will too. If you've not already subscribed to my channel, you can do so below. After you subscribe, you can hit the notification bell. If I can ever help you with any of your Stampin' Up supply needs, I'd be honored. On today's video, we're gonna make these 2 easy cards that I think are very pretty. I am using the Perennial Essence Designer Series papers today. I have said that these papers would be gorgeous if they were framed. And while I still plan on doing that, I did that with this card. We're going to make this card first. I'm using the Floral Essence stamp set. This does come as a bundle with a punch that punches out this shape. And then our leaf punch punches this shape out. I made a video, I don't know, a couple weeks ago with this paper. When I started making this card, I was like, I need to teach them how I decide how big of a piece of paper I want. Okay, so here we go. First of all, I have a layer of Whisper White that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I'm using Blackberry Bliss. And this is a stamp from the stamp set, Floral Essence. So I'm going to stamp my sentiment first at the bottom. You could do this on the right side or in the center, whichever way you want to do it. Then I took my ruler and I said, how far from the top? It's about 4 inches. Actually, the awl, let's see, let's go to the awl, is about 3 3/4. So I took my cardstock up to 3 1/2 because I wanted about 1/4 inch in between. Okay, so 3 1/2, and that is my Blackberry Bliss layer. Okay, and then this, the white was 4 inches, right? So I made this 3 3/4. And then I cut my paper to fit. I think I decided I liked it that way. So my paper is 3 1/2, and then it measures by 3 1/4. Okay, so see, look how easy that layout is. The paper really speaks to me, and so I wanted to showcase just the papers. And while I did use a sentiment from the stamp set, I didn't use any of the flowers. I could have put a flower there, but why? It's so pretty. I just left it alone. Oh yeah, I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals. First, let's put this. I'm so bad about getting ahead. Okay, so my Blackberry Bliss layer is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored and folded at 4 1/4. You really want to build your card from the base up. Instead of like me, sometimes I get ahead of myself and I start adding things and then I try to put it on. And whenever I have dimensionals and stuff, it's too hard to add to the card. In other words, if I had stuck this on the Whisper White and then tried to put adhesive on the back of the Whisper White layer, it's just too bumpy. So let's do it the right way. These are quick cards. Yep, I like the flowers going that way. Isn't that pretty? Simple, simple. You could do that with any scraps that you have of that designer series paper or any papers. So I want to share with you how I made this card. I took the stitched rectangle framelits and I used the largest one. I'm going to put this back. Then I skipped one and I used this one, okay? Because I wanted to have a wide enough frame to add adhesive to. Now, this frame ended up measuring, let's see here. It was like 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, so I cut my designer series paper that size. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and do my stamping and embossing. I am using Versamark ink. Since this is a photopolymer stamp, I do want to have a little bit of padding underneath. Going to get my embossing buddy. And I just found with this paper, I could find a nice space to do my stamping that didn't cover up the flowers. Using some white emboss powder. I have my silicone mat, and I want to, let's see, on this one I added the adhesive on the back of this. When you pick that up, check to make sure that your adhesive is not off of it. If it is, just run your finger along. There was a little bit right there. Just so that your layer, your frame isn't sticky. Now, when you heat set paper, see how it's a little warped? Okay, see how that is? So we want to make sure, I'm going to pull this down just a little bit. I want to make sure that we kind of rub that on. And the frame is going to give it some support, but see how it's still a little bit wobbly? Then I want to take, and I want to add, I'm going to add more snail than what I normally do because I don't want it to pop off or lift up. Again, I'm just checking to make sure I don't have any snail. I have a piece of Whisper White. Those dimensionals, I tell you, they're all over the place. Whisper White Thick, that is 5 1/4 by 8 1/2, scored and folded at 4 1/4. And I just felt like, whoops, came down too low. If you keep your fingers underneath there, you have a little bit of control whether you can lift that up or not. I just felt like it was a piece of artwork that I framed. There you have it, my friends. 2 very simple cards that I think are just gorgeous just because of that paper. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So did you like my way of framing the designer series paper? Those cards are super easy. I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and happy stamping, y'all!